In pickleball, the team that controls the net controls the game. The majority of games are won at the kitchen or the non-volley zone. But there are a few mistakes that players will make that keep them from controlling the net. Today, I want to unpack 4 of those common mistakes and how to avoid them. But better than that, I want to share ways to win at the kitchen, to control the net, and to win more rallies. Let's get into it. Welcome to High Five Pickleball, where we help you improve your game so you can maximize your time on the court. My name is Adam Richards, and today we're looking at 4 common mistakes players will make at the kitchen that keep them from controlling the net. The first common mistake players make at the kitchen line is stepping back and staying back. Even if it's just 6 inches or a foot, when you step back and stay back, it creates 2 potential hazards. One is a better angle and more space for your opponent to hit the ball down at your feet. Returning a ball at your feet is difficult, and it could lead to you popping it up. Another is at least 1 extra step between you and a dink. More steps means more work for you and the potential of an error or hitting a shot off balance. Just like everything, though, there are a few occasions where stepping back is a good thing. For example, when your opponent drops a high third shot drop, you may want to take a step back so you can let the ball bounce and hit it back at your opponent's feet. Another example is when you're at the kitchen and you anticipate a fastball coming your way. Sometimes you may want to step back to give yourself time to react to the ball. This is okay, but make sure to get back to the line. The second common mistake players make at the kitchen is not using a volley dink. The volley dink is a defensive shot where you take the ball out of the air instead of letting it bounce in the kitchen. The benefit to this shot is that it takes away time from your opponent. And just by taking away a few milliseconds from your opponent's reaction time, it forces him or her to think faster, and ultimately it could lead to indecision or an error. All of these things are good for you. To hit a volley dink, first imagine a semicircle or bubble about 1 foot to 2 feet in front of you in the kitchen. If a ball is going to land in that bubble, take it out of the air. Focus on soft hands and hitting it in the sweet spot of your paddle. You'll also want to make sure your feet are planted first. Don't move your feet while hitting this shot, and don't overextend. If you can't safely take it out of the air, it's better to let it bounce, take a step back, and safely return it back over the net. The third common mistake players will make at the kitchen is dinking without a purpose. Have you ever hit a shot directly to your opponent during a game? This type of strategy does not lead to controlling the net. Now, we've all done this, but the reality is when you dink, you want to make them think. Force your opponent to think about how they will return your shots. There are a few tools you can use to do this. I like to use the acronym ADW to remember. A stands for angles. Use dinks with angles to move your opponents from side to side. Keep them moving, and this will keep them thinking. D stands for depth. You can use depth or deep dinks to move your opponent back from the kitchen line. Hit the ball at their feet, and this will force them to decide to take it out of the air or not. W stands for weakness. If you know your opponent and you know their weaknesses, you can use that against them. For example, do they have a weak backhand? Or maybe they tend to stand back from the kitchen line. How can you use this knowledge as a strategy in the kitchen? The fourth common mistake players will make at the kitchen is inconsistent dinks. When we hit inconsistent dinks, the outcome is almost always bad. For example, the ball is popped up and your opponent smashes it back down at you. The ball is hit wide and it goes out. Or the ball is hit low and it goes into the net. Now, you may just categorize these things as errors, but I think it's important to look at the underlying reasons for why they happen and how to fix them. With that, there are 3 easy ways to fix inconsistent dinks. Number 1, you must have soft hands. On a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being very soft and 10 being the tightest you can squeeze, your grip strength on your handle should be 3 to 4 when you're dinking. Another way to fix inconsistent dinks is to practice good swing mechanics. One great swing you can use is called the pendulum swing. It's called this because your arm swings at the hinge of your shoulder. Now, in order to execute this swing, you want your knees bent in an athletic stance. You want to swing from low to high. You want to watch the ball come to your paddle, and you want to hit it out front, and you're hitting it at its highest point. Your arm and wrist are stable, and there isn't really a lot of backswing on this at all. A few things you want to avoid with the pendulum swing are wrist action, a lot of wrist action, big backswings, straight legs, and overreaching. And above all, it's important just to respect the net. When you're dinking, give plenty of space between the ball and the top of the net. So that's it. Those are the 4 common mistakes players will make at the non-volley zone, and a few ideas on how to fix them. What's your biggest frustration with dinking or playing at the kitchen? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this content, please remember to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss another update from High Five Pickleball.